What if you stopped asking yourself, what if I fail? And actually started asking yourself, what if I actually succeed? What if you stopped focusing on failure and actually focus on one next right step at a time? What if you could actually still enjoy life, still wear a bathing suit, still run around the yard with your kids, have sex with your husband with the lights on? What if? You can, my friend, but you have to decide if that's the path you're gonna choose. Welcome to the Diet Haters Podcast. I'm your host, Sunday Joe, loser of 145 pounds, who's passionate about helping you learn how to stop dieting, find lasting weight loss results, and learn your true identity in Christ. How many times have you asked yourself this question? Or how many times have you heard others around you say, what if I fail? Or maybe they said, what if I fail again? Or I'm so afraid to start another diet because I just know I'm going to fail this one too. You know, as we learn to overcome the diet mentality, we're learning how to think differently, how to reframe our thoughts, how to change our mindsets. Learning how to dive into this question, what if I fail, is going to help us move forward on our freedom journey. You know, if you keep telling yourself you're going to fail again, you're right. You're going to fail. Henry Ford said it best, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And guess what? He was right. You get to decide how successful you are on your health journey, my friend. So do I. And it has to start with stopping the miserable dieting cycle, because you will fail if you keep dieting. Why? Because diets are temporary. They bring temporary results, and they also bring shame and condemnation, and most of the time, more weight gain than before we got started. But we're going to overcome that today together, my friend, okay? No more fear, no more dieting, no more asking, what if I fail? No more believing lies from the enemy whose sole purpose is to what? To steal, kill, and destroy us and all of our dreams of being the woman God created us to be. Before we dive into today's episode, though, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying this podcast, would you mind sharing with your friends and leaving a review for us? The more you share, the more opportunities for freedom, the more opportunities for health. And you know what they say, right? Sharing is caring. And the more reviews that we get, preferably 5-star, of course, the easier it is for others to find this podcast. So please, if you haven't already, go leave us a review, and thank you in advance. Okay, now let's dive into today's episode on what if I fail again. Okay, so here's what happens a lot of time when we're ready to actually start getting healthy, okay? We get pumped about doing it, right? We even envision what we would look like healthier, the things we'd actually be able to accomplish in our lives if we were healthier. We start out excited, right? But then as reality starts to set in that we might actually screw this thing up, we get freaked out and we decide to sabotage ourselves before we even get started because we become so afraid of failure. Anybody with me on that? That slight feeling of hope that we had, it gets tossed out with the rotten leftovers in the fridge, and we're scared. Instead of staying excited about the possibility of actually getting healthy, we focus on how we're going to screw everything up. What if I fail? What if I fail again? So then what happens? We either don't start at all, right? Or we continue the debilitating cycle of dieting, which we're signing up for this program or that program, and we're hoping this time it's going to be different because that's what's become comfortable, right? Not saying signing up for a program is wrong, okay? But that's why we call it a dieting cycle, because it's a constant cycle of fear and shame and beating ourselves up. And we've been conditioned to go through life like that. Right? I mean, really, we have. We've been so conditioned to think negatively about ourselves that it's like just totally become our normal, right? Well, here's the thing about getting healthy. You're not going to get it right every day. Okay? Ain't none of us perfect. We're going to screw up. We're going to eat things that weren't good for us. We're going to probably find ourselves still emotionally eating sometimes. And if I can be completely honest with you, I found myself the other day fighting that, and I didn't completely win the battle. I was going through some emotional stuff with family members. My cat went missing. My grandpa got sick. It was just all the things. And I had to recognize, oh crap, I'm getting in this cycle again. I'd love to say I got it perfect, but I didn't, right? But we're human, and none of us are going to get it perfect, okay? We might still get cranky when we're on our periods and we want to throat punch people, right? We're not perfect, and we're never going to get it 100%. But that doesn't mean that we failed, right? It doesn't make us failures. It makes us human. We have to stop convincing ourselves that there's no hope for us and that it's always going to be this way, okay? Making mistakes in our journey to health is not failing. It's called messing up. It's what we do with messing up that changes everything for us. We can sit in the shame of our screw ups, right? Or we can sit down and process through the why behind the decisions that we have made. Why for the last 3 days have I refused to eat healthy and been more focused on sabotaging myself than taking care of myself? That's a good question to ask ourselves, right? Sit in that question for a minute. Take that question to God and ask Him to show you why. Ask Him to show you the root so that He can pull it up and help you walk in the freedom that He's called you to. Why did I eat that whole Hershey's bar when I wasn't even hungry? Another great question. Sit with that question. Pray through it. Get to the root. Here's another example. Why do I keep eating myself into oblivion when my husband desires to walk alongside me and support me in this health journey? Why do I keep getting in my own way? Sit with those questions. Ask God to show you why. What is the lie that you are believing? We only fail when we refuse to keep pushing forward, right? And pushing forward may not always be easy, but it's simple. And it's as simple as sitting down and making ourselves ask ourselves hard questions. Again, I didn't say it was easy. I said it was simple. So if you're ready to start getting healthy, but you already have yourself convinced that you're going to fail, you have got to stop with the crappy thinking, my friend. Because that's the enemy lying to you, trying to convince you that you're not worth fighting for. And what does God say? God says you are worth fighting for, right? But here's the thing, and it's a big but. He can't just believe it for you. You have to believe it yourself. And when you start believing it, guess what? That changes everything. Because our actions follow what we believe, right? When we know who we are in Christ, our decisions reflect that. When we don't know who we are in Christ, our decisions reflect that. A quick invite for you, my friend. If you're tired of doing life alone or you're tired of being on your weight loss journey by yourself, I want to invite you to my free Diet Haters Facebook community where we're doing life together. We're encouraging one another, sharing inspiration, praying with each other, and of course, laughing along the way because if you know me, you know I like to do some shenanigans. I will share the link in the show notes for you, or you can head on over and join us by just searching Diet Haters on Facebook and you will find us there. All right, now let's get back to the show. So I've caught myself in this cycle so many times, right? I'd get all pepped up to start my diet on Monday because that's when all diets start, right? On Mondays. Whether it was the cabbage soup diet, ordering box food that tasted like the cardboard it came in, right? Whatever, you name it. I was going to do it this time. This was the time I was going to lose weight. And sometimes I would actually follow through and start on Monday, but usually I would quit by Tuesday because I convinced myself that I was starving to death, or I'd never start because I would find a way to sabotage myself. And on a side note, we have to stop waiting for Monday to start, okay? Because Monday usually doesn't come. And when it does come, we're so ingrained in the diet mentality that we didn't start with the right mindset to begin with, right? Okay. Side note, sorry, I got off track. But how many times do we sit and we think about things before we ever even get started? Like, what if nobody notices I've lost weight? Or what if I go somewhere and they don't have the food I'm eating? Or what if, right? Now, what I'm not saying is that you should never ask what if, because there's a right time and a right way to ask that question. It's not wrong to think about obstacles, right? What gets us in trouble is constantly obsessing over the things that are out of our control. Stop thinking about whether or not somebody is going to notice if you've lost weight. Stop obsessing about the fact that you're only eating like a rabbit and they might not have lettuce at the event you're going to. Okay, I'm being a little sarcastic there. You're stressing yourself out, right? And you're stressing your body out over things that you can't control. Now, when you approach these things with the right mindset, it's okay to ask certain what-if questions. And so as I talk about in my free guide, 4 Simple Steps to Weight Loss, I talk about the importance of planning your food. Planning out where you're going to eat for the day, then writing down what you actually ate. We actually dive much deeper into this into my Diet Haters University membership. And for all the DHU members, actually, they get a Diet Haters planner that helps them set up each day for success with specific questions about where they are mentally, where they are spiritually, what they can do to set the day up for success. And then there's a place to plan out their food. So if you're asking the right what-if question and you're actually planning your day, it might look something like this, okay? So, I'm choosing to eat healthy today because I matter and I want to love myself well. So I know for dinner tonight, I'm going to go out with friends, they're serving pizza. Am I going to be okay if I eat the pizza? If not, what is my plan? Will I bring something that I want to eat for myself, or will I ask them to grab me a salad? Right? See how that changes everything? You're not freaking out. You're not setting rigid rules that say, you're a failure if you eat pizza. You're in control of what you're going to eat. And now you just have to decide how you're going to execute that plan. So when you ask the right what if questions, that what if I fail mentality goes out the window, right? If all you're doing is sitting around and thinking about how much you failed and how much you're probably going to keep failing, you're not just hurting yourself, my friend, okay? You're hurting those around you who know and believe that you have something to offer the world. You've got to stop believing the lies that the enemy is telling you and start believing what God says. You have to start believing that it's not too late for you, okay? And that's one of the things that we teach inside the Diet Haters University. We talk about renewing our mind, overcoming all of those negative thoughts. We talk about catch it, check it, change it. We learn how to replace the lies with truth, because behind every lie is God's liberating truth. We learn how to overcome the fears that we've let control us for so long. So I want you to think about something. Instead of asking, what if I fail? What if you actually asked yourself, what if I succeed? What if I succeed? That, my friend, changes everything. What does that look like? What if you actually succeeded? What if you stop focusing on failure and actually focus on one next right step at a time? What if you could actually still enjoy life? What if you could actually still wear a bathing suit? What if you could actually still run around the yard with your kids? What if you could have sex with your husband with the lights on? What if? Well, you can, my friend, but you and me have to decide if that's the path that we're going to choose. You have to decide how you're going to keep talking to yourself. You have to decide if you're going to keep believing the lies that have been ingrained in you. You have to decide if you're going to choose success. Now, I don't want you to think that it's all going to be all rainbows and unicorn farts, right? Because you choose to stop thinking about failure all the time. You've got to retrain your mind. You've got to retrain your brain. You've got to renew your mind. You still have to do the work. But when you start getting your mindset in the right place, the other stuff will follow, okay? You still got to work for what you want, but getting rid of that negative self-talk will help you get there a whole lot faster, okay? You can do this, my friend, and we can do this together, because I'm working on all this stuff too, right? We don't ever get it perfect, right? So I hope this episode was helpful today. And if you need some help getting back on track with your weight loss, like I mentioned earlier, I've written a free guide for you that's called 4 Simple Steps to Weight Loss. Sometimes all it takes to get back on track in our health journeys is literally going back to the basics, back to simple next right steps that lead us to the best version of ourselves. Sometimes all it takes to get back on track in our health journeys is literally going back to the basics, back to simple next right steps that lead us to the best version of ourselves, the version God designed us to be. If I can lose 145 pounds, you can lose weight too, my friend. It doesn't matter if it's 10, 20, 50, 100 or more. If I can do it, you can do it. If you're ready to take control of your health today and say goodbye to dieting once and for all, you can download the free guide, again, 4 Simple Steps to Weight Loss, at sundayjoe.com/4steps. That's sundayjoe.com/4steps. And don't worry, if you're driving or crocheting and can't write the link down, I will share it in the show notes. I'm also going to share the link to the Diet Haters University membership waitlist that I was talking about earlier if you're interested in joining when the doors open again, and there'll be more details on that coming soon. All right, my friend, that is it for me today. I will see you in the next episode of the Diet Haters podcast. And don't forget, you are valuable.